bridging the gap between information and action as it relates to real estate investors through the stories of actual real estate investors in the game, competing at a high level, flipping homes, getting rental properties that are just really on their grind. And I'm excited about this episode, especially because the man to the right of me, we met about a year and a half ago. He had a plan for his business. I had a plan for my business. And the rest is history. There's a lot in between there that really got us to this day to sit here and be able to talk to each other. But before we get to that, Rod, the big part of this show is to dive into the backstory of investors and kind of show not just the immediate success that you could go on Instagram and see or combos. Now we're going to talk about the backstory. Yeah. So I know you're a hustler. The people that know you're a hustler. Where are you from? Where did your hustling spirit begin? What's your childhood like? Sibling? Tell us what your reality was as a kid.
From right here in Atlanta, man. Atlanta, Georgia. My family, man, was entrepreneurs. So, man, I kind of grew up in that environment with my dad. He was a pastor. My mom, she was opening daycares and doing things when I was a kid. So we've always been in an environment of getting out here, man, and knowing figuring out how to make something from nothing.
Gotcha.
So that's a part of a gift that I believe that my family has, just with how do you take something from nothing and turn it into something that's profitable and that has sustainability.
Gotcha.
So I kind of grew up in an environment. I got a brother and a sister. I'm the youngest one out the crew.
The youngest?
Yeah, man. I got an older brother.
They say that's the problem child. That's the middle child.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So the youngest of three.
Yep.
You got a mother that's a hustler, the father that's a hustler. So
yeah, man.
What was your first thing that gave you the platform as far as structure? What was your first thing?
A barbershop. I had a barbershop called. We had a group of salons called New Edition. It was unisex salons. So when I was 16, was my first time actually managing one. We had three of them. One on Austell Road in the Big Lights Plaza, one on Floyd Road in the Kroger Plaza, and one on East West Connection in the Kroger Plaza. So my brother was at the one on Austell Road. I was the one on Floyd Road. My sister was at the one on East West Connection. So that was my first time as a teenager having to manage.
At 16.
I have a structure and an organization and dealing with payroll and leases and finances at a whole other level.
So intro is managing the store. So I'm sure you have people older than you.
Older than you, man.
So how was that? Because
you're a kid, man.
Yeah.
You know, you got older guys coming in and want to call you son and stuff. Hey, bro, I'm not your son.
Try to do so you can say one of the issues was getting that respect.
Yeah,
just how to be a businessman.
And the way you get it, the way I got it was by being consistent, by being thorough and really handling your business. Being sick. And I think a lot of people that's getting started in being an entrepreneur, whether you're 16 or 20, all miss out on that. Being consistent, being disciplined, and really, man, taking the time to get up every day and handle your business. You don't get a pass because you're 16.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people all the time, you got the bigger your dreams, the greater level of discipline and structure you got to focus on having. You want to have all of these things happening. That was one thing that the environment I grew up in taught me. Okay. You know, I was young, but I still knew if you want this to work, you're gonna have to be disciplined. I used to have to be to school at 7:45 in high school. I used to leave home early enough to get to the barbershop to shine the bottom of the chairs. Me and whatever guy had on rotation that week. I wanted my spot to be clean.
Right.
I didn't want it to be filthy. I want people to come in here and have a real experience. So my stuff was put together. So, you know, that's just a lot of the things that I think that people need to gravitate to instead of looking at the end result. You got to reach back and grab, man. You need it.
So you applied the marathon concept and the discipline at an early age at 16,
which
is a rarity.
Yep.
It's tough. It's not an easy thing. It doesn't click for people like that. And so when you talk about having dreams, you talk about your dreams and your visions. Obviously, it was already set here at 16. So after 16, after the barbershop, what's the thing? What are your friends doing? What's the hustle? What's the next hustle? Because now you're kind of separated from your parents. You're seeing success, you're making your own money. What was the next thing?
Man, I was in ministry for a while.
Ministry?
For a long time, man.
Really?
You know, that's a whole other...
And your father was he was
a preacher, man. So I was a preacher's kid.
Gotcha.
So that was a whole other dynamic of being in it. But man, I did ministry, but we always were entrepreneurs. So we had salons, we were involved in ministry.
Okay.
But then me and my brother, when I was about 20 years old, we started doing construction. We started doing home additions, fire restorations, custom basements, custom theaters. And what's funny, I don't know if I got time to tell you how we started that. So my brother had a rental property in Powell Springs. and the people's kid did something anyway. The house burnt up.
Yeah.
This is how we got started with the whole construction, flipping houses, the whole thing. The house burnt up. We found the contractor to be able to do it. He had insurance with Allstate.
Really?
Found the contractor to renovate the whole house. They said it's gonna be 90 grand was his quote to get the house fixed. Allstate sends the check to my brother, but the contractor told us, never mind, y'all, I don't have time to do it. He backed out. So we ended up putting the pieces together and fixing the house. And when we finished the house, we had like $25,000 left. Okay. It was like, so when the inspector came and did the final, man, we had like 25 grand. And we was like, hold on a minute. Everything passed. We always knew to use licensed people to come in and do the job. So when everything was done, man, we said it's $25,000.
So at 20 years old, you dive into real estate construction.
Well, the construction
on the hardest part of the hardest part of the real estate is number one, getting the money for it and then doing the work for it. So at 20 years old, your first time you're diving into it. So I kind of want to highlight that for a minute to get what this show is about is to understand what's up here in everybody that's different. That's going to show who's more ambitious, who wants it more, who not. So you're at 20 years old, minimal experience. You just know that you can get it done.
Yeah.
So you dive in there. So did you have any hiccups? I mean,
we had hiccups, man.
$90,000 check at 20 years old.
We had hiccups. We had to make sure we had to figure out, call to the city and figure out. One thing I want to say to anybody that's watching this: always try to get around people who are being progressive and successful in what you're doing. That's one thing that I knew to do. We knew to get that. We knew to get on the phone and call somebody that had some experience and building stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad had built the church. So we had this guy named Sparks Brazard. There was a construction. He built a lot of people's churches, but we called him and was like, "Hey man, what's the process we doing?" You know what I'm saying? He was real nice to us because we were spending a lot of money building the building.
Right.
But so he answered the questions to me. Y'all need to make sure y'all go to the city and figure out what y'all need to do to get things permitted and how to deal with stuff. And man, he gave us the game, really just on like a 30-minute conversation out there at my dad's church on how to go. So I'm telling everybody that's out there, don't just jump out here without trying to get some information on what to do. And get it from people who have experience, not that's operating on theory. Right. I think a lot of people, let me know if I get off track. I want to just
listen, everything that you say at this point is to motivate somebody who was once sitting where you were without the knowledge that you have now. So anything that you feel like you want to share, because it's all substance.
I think a lot of people, if you're trying to really go, you got to take advice from people. Like when I got going and doing things, I tried to get around with people who was winning, because a lot of people got information. They got an idea through theory, not experience.
How do you at 20?
A track record. At 20, that's what I did. I went and talked to Sparks Brazard. This cat was building buildings already. He was that's it. So I wanted to get around and get information from somebody who was actually doing what I was doing and had a success track record at it. And that's how we got the information. Okay, you need to call to the city.
Gotcha.
To find out about permits, to find out about this process, find out about
make sure you're not starting. Make sure back.
That's it.
Yeah, going backwards. So for those that don't have those immediate type of people in your circle that have that experience that you might need to latch onto, what would you suggest?
Search them out. I found you through searching out.
So let's before we even talk about that, let's totally talk about that, because that's a big part. That's the power of social media. Social media, if you don't have the immediate circle to kind of do something a little astronomical, that your group's not really informed on, social media is big. So we met on social media, me running ads. You reached out, you talked. So at that point, what was the experience? You stepped away from construction for a little bit. So at this point, you're reaching out to me. What was going on?
Trying to find the right process to do financing, because I knew how much cash I had on hand, but I knew it wasn't going to be enough.
And the goal was to get into flipping.
Okay. So to do that, I needed to get with somebody who that's what they had the background in doing. And then I was looking online, typing stuff in, looking online, typing it, going on Google. People that lenders is doing this, brokers, financing for getting involved in flipping. You know, I was watching it on TV, but the TV show don't give you the real game on it.
TV show don't give you the glitz and glamour. The glitz and glamour. Gotcha.
So when I found you online, remember we had a conversation. I said, "Hey, listen, man, this is new for me. I'm trying to figure out how this finance thing works." So I was doing the same principle I was doing back then. When I linked up with you,
the closed deals. You see that right there. It's mind blowing. It's a little surreal. Because that conversation we had, we're talking about no deals done. and fast forward
So now,
to what?
26 later.
26 later. So the same concept that you use reaching out to the guy to help you do your first project is the same concept that helped you do your next 26 projects.
Yep.
So we want to highlight the consistency in the formula.
Yep.
Not giving up on the formula, and that's vetting out.
Yep.
And that's trusting the track record and your instinct. So how the hell did you have, so when I met you, you like, this is what I want to do. In a year, I'm like, this guy's crazy. In my head, but I'm like, I like crazy. I was like, I like crazy.
30 deals.
So like, I'm like, okay, but I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And then when you called me with that first deal, you know, Man Post Road.
Yeah.
How did you find your deals?
Man, I had that app Driving for Dollars, and I was literally getting out the car. Driving for Dollars.
So what's that about?
Man, it's an app, man, that, man, you can just stand in front of a property and it'll tell you the address. It'll tell you who own it, all kind of crap, man.
Really?
Then I did PropStream.
Okay.
PropStream, I paid $99 a month for PropStream.
Okay.
And it tell you all kind of properties and addresses out there. And then the other thing is, man, knocking on doors. I found Post Road I was knocking on doors.
No way. So the good old fashioned knocking on the doors.
And the dude beside Post Road said, man, I had nobody lived in this house in years, but I know the people that own it. I know the people that own it. Their family don't live here. And I got it, bam. That's when I called you.
That's crazy. So you hear about house hacks all the time. You hear about different wholesalers, different agents that can guarantee the plug. So you're saying, nah, you use apps, knocking on doors, and it happens.
And I use wholesalers now, but getting started, you know.
But you don't have, if you don't have that resource.
You ain't got that,
right.
You know, you got to be willing to go out here. And this is something else I'm telling people that's trying to get in whatever you want to do. You got to be willing to go out here and do
Put yourself out there.
what other people not going to do. Right. It's uncomfortable. Man, I used to be out there, man, my shoes used to be wet. It'd be the dew in the grass, knocking on doors, walking up the street. Early in the morning. Yeah. Listen, calling, getting on your nerves.
Yeah. Hey, you sure?
I was on your phone.
You sure? So I remember when, I think it was Man Post Road, when the HUD had came out, and I think the leverage was off.
Yeah,
I think by like 10%. So Rod's calling me like, yeah, man, so I'm in the office and they telling me I need like $20,000 more. And I'm like, nah, something's not right. So we adjusted it, and that was a scary point.
Yeah, but you know what I saw about you that day that I liked. That's what made us connect with that.
Yeah.
You walked it and fixed it.
Yeah.
The whole process.
Fixed it. It wasn't that day, but it got fixed.
It got fixed.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people, man, you know, I don't think a lot of people would have managed that, especially with somebody's first situation. They would have, man, you know, hey.
Listen, man, when I was at ICE at the time, and my biggest thing for me was being the situation I was in.
Yeah.
Was getting people approved that didn't, you from it, not from New York.
Yeah.
It's the track record. We were building it. It was hard, but there's always a way.
Yeah.
And that bothered them people.
Oh, I know
you was going
in.
They were getting to a point where you say you were annoying me. I know for a fact that I was annoying them, but I saw the vision.
Yeah.
I saw the vision. And even with that, let's just not even focus on what I did to help you there. I want you could have easily said, you know what? I'm walking away. This is not it. If that was to stay the way it was, but you stayed persistent because you saw the profit margin. What were the numbers on it?
Man, I bought that house for $60,000. We spent $36,000, $38,000 on it, and it sold for $204.
So, again, what I do is I help facilitate funds for investors that are doing projects. You can buy a house for 60, you put 30 to 40, and you got an ARV of 204.
Yep.
There's not many places that we can't go conventional. Mm-hmm. FHA won't have a conversation. If they do, it'll take a little longer. So, what benefits hard money, using private money has it had outside of everything you just named? Mm-hmm. What is the luxury of going to a property, seeing a property, and knowing like shit, I can make this happen?
Yeah, because you can spend minimal money to acquire the property, and then the situation you put me in, you got the finances to fix it. So you know, a lot of people, man, be thinking about the whole process, and it's scary.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with the hard money situation, especially getting started and getting going, man, it gives you can put minimal money in. Man, I be telling people, man, if you ain't got it all, get with some friends, get a group of y'all, do something. But you know, like I be trying to tell guys, man, you worried about the money to fix it. You gonna better get the money to fix it, get the loan done.
Yeah.
It's going, if your numbers line up right, it's gonna be win-win. So for me, I knew that if I can get the money to fix this house, I already know I knew what the ARV was gonna be. I knew what was going on in the area.
Yeah.
So those are the benefits to hard money.
Got you. So when people, a lot of times they'll call me, it's hard money, so they think it should be simple. You know, this is what I want to do. This is the profit margin. This is how it works. So I'm glad that you even dived into hard money before I could talk about it, because it is more expensive. So what are your pockets? Have to be like if you're looking to start a deal, when you first did your first deal, how much comfortably would you say a borrower would need to flip a house for $60K, to put in a good $50K, and what's the room for error? How much should they have for room for error? Because you had a lot of room for error.
You need to have you need to try to get about 25 to 30,000. I would tell somebody
25 to 30,000.
And I'm gonna say this because I know when I say this, you watching it, somebody gonna say, man, shoot, I ain't got 25 or 30,000 dollars, nigga. I mean, I ain't been saying that.
It's all good.
I ain't got 25, 30,000 dollars, man. But find it.
Yeah.
Be resourceful. Find it. Borrow it. If your credit bad, find somebody that's got credit. If you ain't got the money, get 5 people that's got some money together. Talk to uncles, aunties, friends, coworkers. You got to be relentless to do it, because I will tell you this: that one situation, flipping that one house, can change your whole life.
Whole perspective.
It can change everything, and then you take that money and use it to put it in doing other stuff, save some money, and go. So I would tell people you need to try to have about $25,000, $30,000. But if you deal with it right, the end result of it is going to be
that makes it obsolete. That front end.
It don't even matter. And you always going. I think there's something in our culture that is a learning curve is borrowing money, interest rates.
Right.
You know, I grew up in church. We was taught not to be in debt.
Yeah.
I'm in millions of dollars of debt right now. Millions.
Yeah.
Millions. I make a lot of money, but I'm still in millions of dollars worth of debt. So when you start learning about when you was going through with me on the interest rates and all that kind of stuff, that was new for me. You know, now I didn't bought 2 houses, but I still have never been dealing with money. It's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
So when you was going through the numbers and the points and all that kind of stuff, because of I'm gonna say our culture and most black people, we weren't taught. We didn't grow up learning about that kind of stuff. We didn't know about, hey, this is what I'm gonna pay to borrow these people money. I need to hold these people money for 3 months. This 200 grand, I need to hold it for 3 months, and it's worth me paying 10% or 12%. But if I flip out of it in the right time, you know, it's a killer situation. But you know, we weren't taught that kind of stuff, so it was a learning curve for me to learn even about
the way you even thinking
paying for money.
Yeah.
So is it for me to make a long? Is it worth me paying them $10,000 to get their $200,000 to get their $200,000 to make $100,000? Is it worth it? Hey. It's worth me paying $10,000 to hold y'all money.
100%.
That's it.
100%. So it's a money game. Hard money is just what it is. It's hard money. If you're using hard money, you have to walk into it knowing what the end result is and keeping your eye on that profit margin is really what he's saying, which I try to emphasize on my consultations. I try to emphasize on my page. It's not we're saying that you have to have money to burn and blow like water, but the case is if you're making money, someone's lending you money to make more money than you would have anywhere.
You gotta pay for
it. That has a price.
You gotta pay for it. And the price is worth paying.
It's worth paying because if you go to Chase, they're giving you a thick application like this. And there's nothing wrong with the FHAs. There's nothing wrong with anything conventional that allows you to do an investment property, get in, flip it, rent it, whatever the case may be. But we're bypassing all of that and allowing you to kind of.
And most of the time, man, the situation most people, I'm just gonna be in. You know, I was in ministry so long that we didn't have a mom and pop situation. We had a maid, so I kind of know a lot of what's going on when it comes down to the majority of people's situations. Yeah. So if you're trying to get into real estate investing, you need to try to get a good hard money lender. Most people got some credit issues. Most people don't have all of the necessary paperwork they need. Yeah. Most people don't have all the right documents to just do all of the things. You can't just go to Bank of America and go in there and get $300,000 and start flipping houses. I'm gonna be honest with you. Most people's circumstances that ain't gonna happen. Yeah. But you can move around that, navigate through that by dealing with the hard money. And I think that's a great place for people to be able to start, especially with a guy that has a business the way you
make sure we take care of it.
Yeah,
and I appreciate it again, man. And So aside from the real estate right now, because you got 20 something doors right now that are on the market. If you want to actually, before we go into the next thing about the music, you're going to talk about those properties.
Yeah, I'm holding some.
Them.
Yeah, I'm holding. Well, some of the ones they already done the contract, so they gonna be gone.
So it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Which one is it?
It's a wrap. 2343, 189, 2351, 282. I mean, 2351.
Okay.
189, 282, 2351, 282, 2343.
So the idea again was to flip these properties, but it made more sense for you to hold some, and sell. So right now you basically had to do a 360.
Yeah.
Middle of the deal, do a 360, hold on, adjust. Like again, much respect. That's what you have as an investor.
You got to.
So check those out. I mean, follow his Instagram, follow him out. If you're in Atlanta and you're looking in the downtown area for somewhere to stay, it's a beautiful, beautiful house. You brought up the block.
Yeah, we did.
Set the tone on the block.
We did. I'm gonna interject this in your mind of people that's watching. If you are planning on holding properties, be smart with your money because it's what I'm saying is exciting and it's great. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of benefits and perks, but be smart with your money because something that I didn't know was about holding costs. So a lot of people going out of business right now.
Yeah. You told me people were walking
off. It's people walking off on stuff right now. Holding costs. So if you do have properties, you got to prepare for that. And think about that. What happens when you flip that first property and get that first check? You got to be thinking about saving some money, having some money to reinvest, having some money to put aside to be able to maintain your business. Because anything can happen. If you hold
people break into the houses,
somebody broke into a house and took the sink, broke up $3,000 worth of granite countertops and took the sink. I wanted to put a sign on the house and listen, man. The only thing you gonna take out of here is no more than $100. Send me your cash up before y'all kick my door in. Send me your cash up, my boy.
Right.
Send you $100.
Right.
Please don't tear my house up for $100, man.
Yeah.
They took the sink, bro.
That's the thing.
Busted my granite up. Ripped my cabinet cap. Listen. For $100 sink, if that.
How much work did you have to redo?
I had to redo it all. I had to redo cabinets, redo countertops. That's another thing that people don't know about when you flipping properties that people don't talk about. You don't see this on the on the TV shows.
HGTV's not
on HD. They ain't gonna tell you, man. Some people broke in here, man, and stole everything out this mug. Tore your cabinets up, tore your countertops up. Tried to take your tub, your shower heads out, everything. They don't talk about that.
They don't. And see, the HGTVs and even the average person's Instagram that's doing it will kind of misguide the next person that has some extra cash. And you end up in the gym. And that gym might be a part of the journey, but some journeys don't really.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what people do on social media. And I love social media. I'm on there all the time. But social media only show you the end result. Yeah. It don't show you the process.
And your social media is not that. You got your camera down with you. Yeah,
man. I be showing, man, the process. And then even on some of the posts, I actually tell man, this ain't all, this ain't all fun. This ain't all, it's not all good every day. It's, it's stuff that happens. Yeah. And most of the time with real estate, and I'm not saying this to discourage you, I'm showing this to tell you how you got to think. Most of the mistakes that happen in real estate cost money. It's a different type of business. Yeah. It's a different materials, labor. Stuff for permits.
Scope of work.
Talk about
the scope of work and how that plays a big part in even when shit happens when they break into the house. How does that affect the scope of work?
Contingencies. Knowing really taking your time, and whether you go into a lumber yard or going to Home Depot, man, because materials going up, I was at Home Depot the other morning, man, just going back through stuff. These 2x10s, 2x6s, 2x8s, 2x4s. I went to the lumber yard, man. We using different type of stuff. Hey, man, listen. I need to go in here and put a real scope of work together because when you get into these loans, once you run out of money, hey bro, you're out of money.
That's it.
So now you stuck, and the reason people walking away from deals is because now you stuck with a house. You $30,000 off on your scope of work. You got to pay the mortgage every month, and you need $30,000 more to finish it. So if you ain't got no money, you in a property that you didn't do your homework right on what it's gonna cost to fix it, $30,000 over budget. Well, I ain't even gonna say over budget. You probably really didn't do your numbers right. $30,000 over. Now you got a mortgage payment. You sitting there with you sitting there in a jam now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. I'm gonna say this to Eric, but there's nothing you can do with the unfinished house. You can't refinance it. You can't sell it.
It's
And
just
on the
something-
center, you're gonna take a loss.
Yeah.
So you gotta take your time with them scopes of work, man, and really go to the lumber yard and really take your time with your architect and get your framing package and know what really is it gonna cost to frame this house. Now, I used to be able to frame a 2,000 square foot house out with just materials for 17 grand. 27,000 now.
Yeah. A whole 10 grand up jump.
You can, hey, listen, this the facts. You can call the lumber yards in Atlanta. When you send your framing package, your architects in, they're gonna quote you what it's gonna take for every beam, every 2x4, every eye joist.
So the scope of work, for the people that don't know, scope of work is a document that we collect that shows the work that you're doing, a description on the materials you're using, and the draw dates in which you're going to draw on the money to get reimbursed for the construction that you're doing. So this is pretty much like the holy grail.
Gotta have it.
Right? So once we close, you can't go back and make many changes.
It's a wrap.
Your numbers you have to abide by, and if anything happens and you missed something, that's coming out of your pocket.
Coming out of your pocket.
Right? So the scope of work is big. The contract and the scope of work are the two things that I can't even move or do anything without. So he's basically saying that the scope of work in real life is costly.
It's costly, man.
It's costly. Like you're getting reimbursed, but you have to make sure that you go to the Home Depot.
Or the lumber yard, or wherever you get your materials
They're not
from.
talking about that on HGTV.
No,
They're not talking about that on any, even some people, so I follow some investors that I even worked with in the past. I'm not gonna put anybody on the spot, but they make it seem like, so talk about the administrative side. You had to hire a team.
Yeah, I got two.
You had to hire a team to do the administrative side, not just for working with us, but in general.
Who work for me full time. What they do is, like now, I used to do it, but now they do it. They gonna call the lumber yard and send the framing package in. And like, we started using eye joists now. And me and Mitch did this twilly deal.
Okay.
We started using eye joists now. Man, them suckers, we used to do double 2x10s. Them suckers, man, is $90 a piece. So imagine you can buy a 2x10 for maybe $13, $13, $14. Maybe just say $20 a piece. Now you're running $90.
$100.
Because you know everybody going for an open concept look now, so they can support the span. They can have a longer span without needing any support, like 20, 25, 30 feet long. So man, your material cost just went from being $20 to $100 more. And if you don't think about that, when you put your scope work together,
You'll be screwed.
you're gonna be screwed. It add up.
So your team helps you. So how did you put your team together? Are these people from your past that you worked with in the past? Are these people that you assembled? And what did you look for?
One of them is a partner of my sister, and one of them is a girl that I met at a restaurant. She told me what she was in school doing. I said, what she just got in school for? And when she told me what she did, I said, well, that's gonna work perfect for me. So I said, how much money do you make a week here? She said, I make X amount of dollars here. I said, guess what? You know what? You just need to come work for me full time. So when she did that, we kicked it off.
So starting it, recapping it again for people that you know didn't really hear what you said. 16, you're managing a barbershop.
Yep.
20 years old, your first real estate project. Fast forward to a year and a half ago, with a lot of, I'm sure in between, you get into real estate, you're knocking on doors, you're using people in your circle to find more deals. So you learned, you lost money.
Oh yeah.
You made mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Expensive mistakes.
It's a part of it.
But now you stand with houses on the market. Now
And people rent houses.
Renting houses. So it went full circle and you stayed the course.
Yep.
So what's next? I mean, if you know, what's next?
I want to get bigger.
You want to get bigger. So when you say bigger,
Commercial properties,
Okay.
apartments, duplexes.
Okay.
I want to get bigger.
Okay.
Like I know how this piece works, and if you're out there working it, this is great. I wanted to do this to get involved into building generational wealth. I think that this is one of the biggest ways to really start. I got 2 kids, so I'm thinking now about my grandkids.
Right.
What do they have? I don't want them to have to start where I started at. So I want their platform to be on a whole another level.
So you can just pick something that's turnkey.
Man, it's ready to go. Daddy got $50 million worth of real estate out there, and the majority of it is paid for.
Myself.
It's paying me every month. So when I read Robert Kiyosaki's book when it first came out, I really didn't understand. I like to read, so I read it, and it was popular, and it was a good read.
Okay.
But then when I started really thinking about, man, you know what, man, I'm thinking about now my grandkids, my kids, thinking about generational wealth and saying, hey man, just having some dollars don't mean you got no generational wealth.
Right.
So learning, I started, really understand when I used to hear them Black History Month talk about black people after slavery own less than 2% of the wealth in the country, and in 2021, we still own less than 2% of the wealth in this country.
Why do you think that remains to be the concept? Besides it being generational, obviously your parents not teaching you. Every once in a while, you get a spark. You get a couple of sparks that's going to differentiate you from your circumstances, right? Why do you think the people that don't get that spark, what is it?
Man, it's environment, man. And it's solely environment. It's environment. Just like when I didn't know, and I've done well.
So let's hop.
And I still didn't know.
And again, I'm cutting you off to just get back to the focal point of the show. You just said that what separates that mindset to get where you're at is environment. And you came from that same environment, and there's somebody out there watching that doesn't feel like that is cool. Or feel like, especially when you're 16, 15, 14, it's not cool to embrace that difference up here. Like if you're mental, if you're cerebral, it's just not. It's just, especially in our culture. So you're saying that environment was blinding people. So can you please give, as a minister, as somebody who motivates the hell out of people and motivates yourself, what is it that you want to tell those people that feel like the environment solely is the reason?
I'm gonna tell you, if you got aspirations, dreams, work on it. Work on surrounding yourself around people
and you bring that right
who
back.
are doing. And it sounds simple, but so many people overlook it, and people get frustrated because life ain't moving forward. But your circle is important. I don't care if you're in the hood. I don't care if you're in a broken situation. I don't care what your circumstances are. This principle works. I believe in principles. It's a universal law. I don't care whether you're a Muslim, an atheist, or a Buddhist.
It's going to apply.
It's principles that just work. And one principle that just work is surround yourself around people. And I ain't saying you got to leave and disconnect from all your friends, but sometimes the circle that you're with, they don't see it. Yeah. And sometimes people don't have the ability to perceive you being greater than where you are. So you gotta perceive yourself.
Say that again, man.
Sometimes people who are around you, they don't have the ability to perceive you being greater than what you are, being bigger than what y'all corporately have experienced. So you gotta know how to strategically get up in the morning, and social media has opened up the world to everybody.
To do so.
Get online, inbox somebody. Like I hit you, inbox somebody, call somebody. Man, I didn't came to New York to sit down with you. I want to make sure that you get plugged. Yeah. So you got to do the same thing with your life. You got to be focused and strategic about getting engaged people. Get on people's nerves. I don't know if we live in a time now where people don't like bothering people. Yeah. They got pride. I don't care if somebody tell me, no, listen, let me tell you something. When I started doing this, there was a white guy, I ain't gonna say his name, but I was at Dunkin' Donuts on Carlin Parkway.
On Carlin Parkway.
And I heard them talking. I just ear hustling like a mug. I was drinking my coffee. Hey, what they talking about, man? This is how I get a mentor now. Man, I made him give me his number. Then he dissed me for about a month. Oh man, I don't really have time to do that, man. I don't have time. I called him. One day he said, God dang it, young man, pull up on me to one of my job sites. Man, I pulled up on him, man. He's out there building a whole freaking subdivision. Him and his sons.
You told me about him.
Man, listen.
You told me about him. Yeah.
I can tell when I used to call him, he only picked his phone up out of, I don't want you to call me back no more, and I don't want to just block you. But I can tell I was bothering him. Yeah. But I used to still just press him, man. Can you talk with me, man? Can you give me, hey man, you got a minute? He finally started giving me. So he's helping me, and there's all kind of other loans and stuff I done learned about and ways to do stuff and thinking. Just like he told me when I bought flipping, he was like, hey man, you're still talking like a broke person. Why you want to flip out of everything? I was like, what you talking about, man? I'm finna make $50,000. I'm gonna make $70,000, man. What you mean? He said, listen, why you? He said, you need to be thinking about the long-term game now. Why are you acting like a broke person? Why are you acting like a person who don't have nothing? So that's what I mean when I say environment. So when I got around you opened me up to, wow, I gotta spend money to get spending it. I remember you told me, Rod, you're looking at it wrong, man. Because I was like, the points, man, you never want me to pay 2 points. He was like, bro. So when you educated me on how to look at it, and then when I combined it with some of the other things I learned, man, this environment in our culture, unfortunately, building generational wealth is just not something that you don't. I mean, you didn't grow up.
It's hard to see it. It's hard to see it. We don't. you know, if you don't grow up in a situation where you're walking into some money, it's hard to plan for the next person that's gonna walk.
When you think about paying your own,
when you think about paying your own, so it's hard to see. And I think for anybody sitting there that feels, yeah, look, you feel a spark inside of yourself, and you feel like there's a chance that you want to take before you dive into it. Find those people in your circle, no matter where you are, that's going to add to that. That's going to be a catalyst to those positive thoughts in those right directions.
I'm gonna say this: you may get told when you try to get
say no.
You may get told 18 no's.
And he bothered this guy. So, and I believe that he called this guy a million.
Did you know me?
I believed it 100%. So whenever you call me, I know it's all good. It's all, you know, it's nothing. But I know if I look back, it's times where we've talked like 25 times
in a day.
You sure? Hey, bro, you sure? So, but you know,
I used to try to raise the bar. Man, these people want me to give them 2,500 earnest, man. You sure?
So when the pandemic hit, I was in one institution. I was at one bank. Shut down. There's nowhere for us to really kind of go at this point, right? Like, I'm looking at you, you looking at me, but we never gave up.
Never gave up.
You know what I'm saying? We never gave up. It was like, I got you. Let's push it forward. But that was some scary times.
Man, it was scary, man.
It was some scary times.
Listen, man, it was scary, man. And I'm gonna tell you, man. One thing I'm encouraging people while watching this. Why you want to get with this guy? Because, man, you make stuff happen too. Because as relentless as I was in the field, you was just as relentless on finding the money and getting the money to get done, regardless of what went on. And so, man, I'm telling her, you got to be relentless, and you got to connect with other people that want to win just as bad. And if you do, man, it's a game changer.
It just flows.
But get around those people. Fight to get around the people who are actively doing. And I think that a lot of people are stuck in their comfort zone. I used to do a series years ago talking about what is a comfort dream killers. It's comfort zone. Comfort zone. Your comfort zone is your vision killer. It kills visions. You content. If you content, I tell people this, I'm thankful for everything God is doing. I don't know whether it's satisfied. I still right now today, you know, I got the man Mitch be talking. I'm right now, man. Man, him was talking about, man, we gotta get together. Let's try to, I got a couple areas I'm working on trying to go out there and buy everything.
Yeah.
I want to get with enough people, y'all. Let's go buy.
Let's go do
Let's
it.
own it all. You know, and so it comes with taking the risk.